Welcome to everything you ever wanted to know about performing at Walt Disney World. Our presenters today are myself, Bruce Rickert, President of Peak Performance Tours, Heidi Pickert, Senior Sales Manager for Disney Youth Programs, and Denise George, our Florida On-Site Coordinator for Peak Performance Tours. If you're ready to begin, we'll start. All right, so my computer works. Go. All right, here we go. We're going to talk about the 4 programs at Walt Disney World. Disney Performing Arts on Stage, which, if anybody remembers the old Magic Music Days, there is no more Magic Music Days. It's now called Disney Performing Arts on Stage. It's also called Disney Performing Arts Workshops. There's a Disney Honors Program. There's a Festival Disney program. And within the Disney Performing Arts on Stage, there's the Candlelight Processional Program. And we'll talk about that as well. So first we're going to talk about Disney Performing Arts on Stage. This is what most people know about performing at Disney. It's an application process. It's a once-in-a-lifetime performance opportunity in the most magical place in the world. Can you tell I took this straight from their brochure? You become a cast member of Walt Disney World when you go to perform for Walt Disney World Resorts. They treat you as a cast member. They treat you as if you were an employee, and you get first-class treatment at all their performance locations. Go ahead.
The only other thing to note is because of the audience that we attract, it's a great opportunity for you to give your students the opportunity to perform in front of international crowds.
Great. They take all ensemble levels, instrumental, vocal, dance, auxiliary groups, percussion ensembles,
choral.
Parade, choral, all that kind of thing. If you have an interesting performing ensemble, they usually will let you audition and take you along the way. Every performance requires a multi-day ticket package, which the minimum package is a 3-day park-based ticket, which is basically going to the park 3 days, not being able to park hop, but you can upgrade from there to a park hopper ticket, as well as a premium ticket, which also includes their water parks and Disney Quest. There is an audition required for all performances. We're going to go through the application process a little bit later, but there's a recording and a picture and an application included in the application process. And there are year-round performances. You can perform at Walt Disney World every day of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And
we're a live operation that runs 365 days.
Bruce, I was just going to note here for anyone who hasn't done Performing Arts on Stage that your performance is included in your multi-day ticket. Because a lot of people ask me that if there's an additional charge for the performance. It's actually included. And it's a 3-day minimum. I don't know if you want to mention that for anyone who hasn't done it before.
Right. Okay. There are 3 basic performance locations in the Walt Disney World parks. There is the parade performance at Walt Disney World Magic Kingdom, which is the Main Street Parade. It runs 3 times a day, and typically 3 parade bands per day. But if there's an oversized parade band, it may only take 2 bands on that particular time. They are pre-parades for a major parade in Magic Kingdom. There's also an Epcot parade, which is at the time of the opening of the World Showcase, which is usually around 11:30 in the morning. And then their new state-of-the-art stage is the Waterside stage in downtown Disney. You're looking at a picture right here on the right. It has lighting and sound, and it has a movable wall, so if you have a change, if you're a dance group and you're changing your costumes, there's a place that you can change behind it and perform. They have stands and chairs and plexiglass so your music doesn't blow away. They have percussion equipment, large percussion equipment, as in xylophones, chimes, bass drums, timpani, vibraphones, marimbas. I think you even have gongs, and of course pianos.
Yep, and based on our partnership with our sponsors, we get new equipment every year. So every January, all of our percussion and all of our equipment that we have available is shipped out, and we get all the brand new equipment every year. So it's top-notch equipment that's able for you guys to use.
And the nice thing about this performance, again, it's an international audience. It's in downtown Disney. It's right across from the
World of Disney, which is our largest merchandise location at the downtown Disney area. So you are pretty much guaranteed an audience, no matter what time of the day, just due to the traffic that is through that that area. The actual main entrance of the store is right in front of the stage.
Cindy Young asks, is there a drum set and risers for choir, also solo mics? Yes, there are risers. Yes, there are solo mics. And on the drum set, Heidi, I'm going to ask you.
I'm pretty sure there is a drum set. I can double check, but I don't know off the top of my head, but I can double check.
Okay, good question. Thank you. But it is a great location, and it is, because it is an outside of the park location, you are required to have a private bus company take you to the backstage area, which is actually across the street from downtown Disney, for your changing of clothes into your performance costumes and warm-up areas. And we will, and then your buses will then transfer you over to downtown Disney for your performance, and then transfer you back for your changing. So,
and I would say, yeah. And one other important thing is, on any day that you're doing a performance, you would need bus transportation, because you always would be bused in either a backstage location or to a changing facility first, or a warm-up facility. So it would not be where you could rely on the Disney transportation to get you to and from the parks if you were staying on property.
Right. Correct. Another question is, what kind of keyboard is available for choirs?
I can find out the exact.
Is that a keyboard or a upright piano? I'm not really sure of that question.
It's usually a keyboard, but I can get that information. We can follow up with who's asking the questions.
Okay, no problem. I'll keep that chat going. And the next question is, do you accept formal concert clothing, or can choirs do matching pants and shirts? As long as they're matching, that is correct. You could do polo shirts and all be in black pants, and you do not have to have formal attire.
We just ask for no jeans or shorts or things like that. It'd just be more uniform looking as well.
Great. All great questions. Thank you. Okay, so that's basically the Disney Performing Arts on-stage program. And now, okay. The Candlelight Processional program is, we're going to tell you about this program, but if you're interested in performing this year, you need to move quickly because the application is due by September 21st. The Candlelight Processional is a wonderful program for choirs. It is an opportunity for your choir to be part of a massed choir, usually of 2 or 3 other choirs. joined with a 50-piece live orchestra and a celebrity narrator. And some of the narrators this year are?
We have Gina Davis, Neil Patrick Harris, Whoopi Goldberg, Andy Garcia, James Denton, Jodie Benson from she was the voice for Little Mermaid. We have Olivia Newton-John, Gary Sinise, Marley Maitland and her interpreter, and Amy Grant. So those are just a few of the ones that we have scheduled for this year. There's actually 3 performances which take place at 5 p.m., 6:45, and 8:15. And Bruce, I don't know if you were going to get into this, but we ask that when you send in your application, if you have a preference of the performance, we ask that you note that. If you were requesting the 5 o'clock, you would do the one performance. If you request the 6:45 or the 8:15 performance, you are required to do both performances. So that is the one stipulation for those 2 performances. You can't just do one of those 2. You have to do both of them because of the turnaround time for us to do the show. We don't have time to get the students in and get them out. Therefore, we need to have them commit to both performances.
And tell them about the...
Oh, sorry.
No,
sorry, I interrupted. It's Denise. I just wanted to say if anyone on the call has not seen the Candlelight Processional and was coming down to the Orlando area with their family or just wanted to come in and do a site inspection, we can arrange that through Bruce, and we'd love to have you come down and see it, because seeing it and experiencing it'll be a great way to see if it would be a fit for your group.
Yeah, I would say once most directors see it, it's pretty much a given they want to be involved with it. So it's truly spectacular. It's almost overwhelming. This past year, I had the opportunity to host some choral directors in December, and Neil Patrick Harris was the celebrity narrator, and I can't say enough wonderful things about him. He came in and talked to the kids and got them all riled up and got them all excited, and was just a wonderful opportunity for those students to be able to say that they did something like that.
I've actually done this a couple times, and both times I've done it with choirs. Gary Sinise has been the narrator. I don't know how it worked out both times that it worked that way, but he also came and talked to the kids, and he was wonderful. He's a great narrator as well.
Yeah, usually the narrators they commit right on the spot for the following year. So it's pretty easy for us to keep our narrators going, and we have a lot of requests for narrators, celebrities who want to do it, and we don't have enough space. So it's a wonderful show, and the great thing about it, it's a wonderful opportunity for your students to be able to say that they are taking part in a Disney-produced show that is completely done, with world-renowned directors and things like that.
Yes, and another great thing is it's the time of year. If you go after Thanksgiving but the week before Christmas, the crowds are very small. So it's the best time to go to Disney, some of the best rates as well. Again, it's an audition required, and part of the audition is singing a song that Walt Disney World will send you. It's
Joy to the World. It's our version of Joy to the World.
Right. So it has to be on your audition tape. So, and
once you've been selected, we will then send you the show music, and we require that your students learn the 15 songs that will be sung throughout the show.
Right. So I think it's a great opportunity for your choirs and you to come down. And if anyone is interested in this program for future years, let me know, because we are looking at possibly doing a trip in December to go down and look at a lot of the different facilities in Walt Disney World, but also to come to this presentation. And if you really want to, you could actually sing as part of that. Okay, so we're going to go on. Mary Lee had asked the question, is there a stage setup form that we will fill out? And
for
yes, there is
Candlelight?
Or for, I think that was
DPA.
For the, yes, DPA.
Yeah, you'll fill out a stage plot, and then our Disney Performing Arts team will work with you on getting that set up for you per your specific directions.
Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about the Festival Disney program. Um, Festival Disney is a music festival program that they started, I'm going to say, about 10 years ago. I'm guessing, right?
Yep.
It is at the Walt Disney World Resort in Florida only. It's open to middle and high school instrumental, vocal, and auxiliary ensembles, including marching bands, marching field show, marching percussion, guard, indoor guard. They have created actually stages at Walt Disney World for this program. It's been such a great success. It runs multiple weekends between March, April, and May. And
we are actually looking at having 1 week in June this year, the first week of June.
As most music festivals, there is no audition required, and each group has the opportunity to perform on a stage. And after their performance, they get about approximately 20 minutes for their performance time. They get a 10-minute clinic, and then there's a wonderful awards ceremony at the, I always say it wrong, so
no,
Heidi.
It's lights, motor, action most of the weekends. On some of the, there's probably 1 or 2 weekends that are a little bit smaller, like that first week in June, and we do it at the Indiana Jones stunt show for the award ceremony, just because it's a little bit smaller venue.
Right.
But it's a phenomenal. I don't really want to call it a pep rally, but it is very loud and fun for the students to be able to get awards and hear their school and their performance called out and recognized.
Yes, and plus they also have some live entertainment prior to the award ceremony.
Exactly.
So it's great.
The nice thing about the festival is you can choose, if you don't feel that you want to be adjudicated, you can still participate in the festival without being I shouldn't say adjudicated, but ranked or scored. So you don't have to compete if you don't want to.
Right. And then many people ask me the question, if I perform in the Festival Disney program, can I also perform in the park? And the answer is yes, but there's an additional fee, which is $26, and you're kind of on a waiting list for that performance. Am I correct in saying that, Heidi?
Yeah. What happens is we do get quite a few. It's really that time of year when the festival is in spring. We get several requests, and we try, between Festival Disney and our Disney Performing Arts program, we definitely try to give every single group at least one performance. What helps is we know that you guys have to get trips approved. If you guys have the luxury to be flexible with your travel dates, and you know that you could do your Disney Performing Arts performance on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, we will go ahead and automatically book you in both Festival Disney and in the Disney Performing Arts performance. If not, what happens is we put you on about a 6-week hold prior to your arrival date. As venue availability is available, and based on when your application for Disney Performing Arts came in, that's how we will start filling those open slots. You know, there are some weeks around Easter and stuff that I will probably tell you that if you can't do a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, you may not get that Disney Performing Arts performance. We try our best to honor all of the requests. But again, those are the peak weeks that people travel, so sometimes we just have way too many requests to be able to honor everybody, and it's more of a first come, first serve, and making sure that everyone's at least getting one performance opportunity.
Great. Does anyone have any questions about Festival Disney? I don't see anything. Okay, moving on. Oh, there's more. Festival Disney. These are a couple of the performance spaces. The top right is a stage at Saratoga Springs. The bottom center is a performance stage that they actually built for Festival Disney.
It's at the studios. It's called Premier Theater.
Okay.
Actually, this year, too, we have renewed our contract with Winger, and the stage this year may look a little bit different based off the new shells and everything that we will be getting from Winger. So there may be a little bit of a different look to it, but pretty much the theater itself is the same.
And if I remember, it's got gorgeous acoustics.
Yeah, yeah. And then the top photo is Ballrooms of America at the Contemporary Resort. So on some of those busier weekends, we do have to go to a third stage, and that is usually the third stage that we utilize. But for the most part, we try to use the Saratoga Springs Performance Halls for our choirs, and then the Premier Theater for all of our ensemble groups, instrumental.
Okay.
Just to give you kind of, I'm sorry, just to step back real quick, just to kind of give you an idea of the level of adjudicators that we have, they're usually university adjudicators. So just to kind of give you a little idea, for example, for Festival Disney in the past, we're still confirming our adjudicators for this year, but in the past for choral, we've had Dr. William Powell from Auburn University, Dr. Jerry Blackstone from University of Michigan. We've had Dr. Wellborn Young from University of North Carolina, Greensboro. As far as instrumental, from the University of Notre Dame, we have had Dr. Ken Dye. From the Winthrop University, Dr. William Malembry. And Auburn University, Dr. Richard Good and Dr. Johnny Vinson. And the New Jersey Symphony Orchestra, we've had Mr. Jeffrey Grogan. So that'll give you a little bit of an idea of the level of adjudicators that we attract for our festival. Just to give you kind of an idea. We are the #1 festival in Central Florida during that time of year.
And also, as far as the taped comments are concerned, they are all professionally recorded by Disney recording
our audio
professionals. Audio, thank you.
Yep.
And all your performances are also recorded separately from the adjudicators. So you walk away with a tape, digital recording of your performance as well as your taped comments from your adjudicators. And the question out here is, are these stages inside? Yes, they are all inside performance stages for Festival Disney.
Yep.
None of these stages,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to just say that none of these stages are used for the Disney Performing Arts program.
Right. The only thing for Festival Disney that does take place outside is if you have a marching band that is competing in the march, that takes place at the Disney Hollywood Studios.
Great. Do you know where the marching band field shows takes place?
I believe it takes place through the parade.
Oh, okay.
So they'll do it right there. They'll do like a show stop, I believe.
Okay. And then we were asked again, where are they on property? The Saratoga Springs is actually in one of their resort
it's in the Saratoga Springs Resort, which is a Disney Vacation Club property. That's over from years and years ago. People who were familiar with the Disney Inn or the Disney Institute, that's where actually that's now actually named Disney Saratoga Springs. The Ballrooms of America is at the Contemporary Resort in the Convention Center. And then the Premier Theater is at the Disney Hollywood Studios.
Great. And a question was asked about if we can show you what the on-stage performance stage looks like. We did actually show you that before, but I will, at the end of this, I will go back and show it to you again. Okay? Or I could send you a picture, either way. Okay, now we're going to talk about Disney Honors, which is a non-competitive festival for instrumental and vocal ensembles focused on education, evaluation, and artistic growth. And I'm going to let Heidi talk all about this.
Sure. This is actually a festival that we came up, and it kind of spun off of our Festival Disney that we had. It's probably for those groups who really want to take their performance to the next level. Maybe a little bit, even though it's not not really a festival in the sense where you're competing. It's just really a wonderful opportunity to celebrate the talents and really get great feedback from adjudicators, again, that are very high level. It has no audition required. It is for middle and high school instrumental and vocal ensembles only. We do have a similar format that for Festival Disney has. At the end, we do a semi-formal celebration and dinner. So we ask the students to get dressed up. We ask the students to wear, maybe coats and ties. The girls to wear more of a semi-formal dress or attire. And we have a wonderful dinner that's planned for them. It's usually a plated event. The Disney Honors Award for all ensembles and medals are for all the students. The directors actually get an opportunity to have a round table with some of the adjudicators. This, again, too, has a multi-day ticket required. And this festival is a little bit unique because it's a little bit more, I don't want to say elite. It is only offered every other year. So this year it'll be February 28th through March 3rd, 2013. It will take place at the Walt Disney World Resort. We do hope that in the future we may be able to host it as we build this performance opportunity and festival type opportunity for us. We do hope that maybe to take that back to an every year thing and alternate it between the West Coast and the East Coast, but that is, down the road at some time. The unique thing about this festival is that this particular festival takes place at the Linda Chapin Theater in Orlando. It is not on property, so due to the level of performance that most of the groups who participate in this, we felt we need to have a state-of-the-art facility to be able to host them. So we do contract with the Linda Chapin Theater for that. But all the award ceremony and events, there's usually like a welcome dinner and things like that, all take place on Disney property. Just to again give you an idea of the level of adjudicators for this year, we have the Director of Choral Music Education from Texas State University, Dr. Lynn M. Brickenmeyer. We have the Director of Choral Activities, Professor and Chair of Conducting at the University of Michigan, Dr. Jerry Blackstone. We also have Dean Kane College of the Arts and Professor of Music at Utah State University, Dr. Craig D. Jessup. For instrumental evaluators, we have Professor Paula Kreider from University of Texas, Mr. Larry Livingstone from the Professor of Conducting and Music Director at the University of Southern California. We have Dr. Jerry Junkin, Director of Bands, the University of Texas. And I apologize if I messed this up, but it's Mr. Jung Ho Pak, Artistic Director and Conductor, Orchestra, Nova San Diego Cape Cod Symphony Orchestra, World Youth Symphony Orchestra, and Director of Orchestras at the Interlochen Center for the Arts. And then our guest speaker is usually Dr. Tim Lutzenheiser, who is the Vice President of the Division of Education at Conselmar, Inc., and renowned clinician, author, composer, conductor, and consultant.
Wow.
And he usually does the round tables.
He's a great guy.
Yeah. We're very lucky to have him, and he works very well with all of us on all of our programs when anything comes to any of our performance opportunities here at Disney.
Okay. Moving on. Come on, computer. Okay. The next we want to talk about is the Disney Performing Arts Workshops, which is a workshop that you can have exposure ensembles to, whether you're doing a performance or not. You can have these workshops. They're for all age levels for instrumental, choral, and dance ensembles. Mm-hmm. Again, you need to either have a performance, which requires a multi-day ticket package, or if you just want to do the workshops, you can do that as well, but it still requires a multi-day ticket package. There is an application, and these are great workshops where the kids really get involved in learning about their being professional musicians. There's a Disney Sings. There's a well, I don't know. I'll just go on. These are the different workshops that are available. Go ahead, Heidi.
Yeah, the great thing about our clinicians is our clinicians are going to want to work with you. So they'll have conversations with you in advance of what are you teaching the students? What are you trying to drill into them that they're just not getting? How can they back you up and support you so that they understand what you're saying is really what is expected of them when they are a professional? So the clinicians will really work with you in advance. They'll have conversations with you to get a better understanding. In the application required, we don't require a videotape for the workshop. However, we strongly, strongly encourage it in order to give your group the best possible workshop we can. It allows that clinician who's scheduled to teach the workshop in advance to know where your group is so that they can take the maximum amount of time that we have with you and utilize it in the best way so that your students get the most out of it. Like Bruce was saying, there are some fantastic workshops, a variety of them that give you guys just a great opportunity. Some of them have takeaways. The clinicians get the students in there, and for our Disney Instrumental, they're going to tell them what it's like to go to a tape recording. You get the music 10 minutes beforehand, and you get 10 minutes to learn the music, and you've got to do the best you can in 10 minutes and have the best performance, and that's what's expected of you. So they go through it pretty quickly, and they give them the opportunity, and they really give them the experience of what it's like to be a professional.
And they're typically 90 minutes long?
Yes.
Okay. And there is an added cost for these workshops, and there are some minimums for the workshops, which are all included in the application process. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Going on. Application. Here we go. Woo. Okay, this is the application for Disney Performing Arts. We're not going to go through all the different applications, but we felt like this was the best one and had some really good FAQs at the end of it. So this is an application. You can find it on our website. Simply fill it out. I'm not going to really go through all this. Of course, you're going to have Peak Performance Tours on there because you're going to be using us as your tour provider. The performance dates that you're going to have on here, we suggest that you pick the middle of your trip as number 1 and 2, and then if you have to put the 3 and 4, maybe the beginning and the ends of your trip, because I know most of trips to Florida are maybe 4- and 5-day trips. But put what you want to do most. If you have a request for a specific time, you could put that in, and Disney will do their best to accommodate you. Again, probably pending a lot.
Yep.
Has a lot to do with your actual audition tape,
right.
Correct?
Right.
Okay.
One real quick thing before you move through the application. We strongly, strongly encourage, especially if you're looking to travel during spring, we start accepting applications 1 year in advance. So we strongly encourage that you can get the application to us as soon as you can if you know that that's something you want to do. Because, again, the sooner you can get it in, the better we can get you the availability and the things that you're requesting. And we take them up to 8 weeks in advance of your arrival as well.
And typically the application process, once you've sent your application in with everything that you guys need, it takes up to 1 month, but sometimes quicker.
Sooner, yeah, sometimes sooner.
So, okay, so these are all pretty explanatory information. It talks about the different packages that you can sign up for. Again, the 3-day starter package is the least amount of days that you have to sign up for. And then here is you can also, in the regular performance application, you can also apply for the Disney workshops. And the Disney workshops have the number of participants covered by a cost, which is basically what they look at as a minimum. You can have groups smaller than this, but you tend to pay more for them because it's a one price for that many people, and then there's an add-up charge for more people, but you still always have to pay that one price. Correct?
Correct.
All right. Director's signature must be on this application, or it will not be even looked at. This is a code of conduct. I'm not going to go through this. You should read it. Any comments on that, Heidi?
Nope, just that you read it and understand it. I think some of the useful things that you'll find in this application that's new for us this year is really the handbook and the checklist. Some of the stuff that we talked about earlier as far as the time of year when you request, and if you travel, if you're doing Festival Disney, is included in there. Couple things that we hear on a regular basis from directors that are good questions is something along the lines of, does my video need to be professionally recorded? Absolutely not. We just want it to be a good representation of the quality and style of the performance that you're wanting to do. So, you don't have to go and hire someone to do it. You can videotape it from your iPhone if you want and download it to us. So it does not have to be a professional quality from that point. If it's something new that we're doing this year, if the uniforms or costumes that you are wearing are in representation of your video that you are submitting, you do not need to submit a picture of the costumes or uniforms that you'll be wearing. If not, then we ask that you provide us a picture of the costume or the video of each type of costume. So if you have more than one look that is going to be used based off of, percussion's wearing something different, or your color guard is coming with you, then you need to submit a picture of every style. And it could be just one student standing up against the wall and you take a picture of that costume. That's really all we need, something very, very simple. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, but if the guys are wearing tuxes and the girls are wearing dresses, we'll need both.
Correct.
Picture
Correct.
of both people.
Correct. Again, as we mentioned earlier, we get lots and lots of requests, especially during the springtime. But that doesn't mean that you are limited to the number of ensembles. We definitely, again, we never like to say that we can't get somebody in. Our Disney Performing Arts team is the administrative team over there. Works really, really hard to try to honor every single request we can. So there is no limit. You will always get one band, one choir, one orchestra, and one dance group that will be scheduled when you submit all your stuff. And that was all included in the application. When you start looking at additional cost, or when you may look, if you can't travel on that Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, where you may look at a 6-week hold, is when you start adding additional bands or additional choirs that are spin-offs, or you may have crossovers. That's when you'll start to see those holds or the additional costs. So, for example, if you had a marching band and then you had a jazz band, the jazz band, there would be a $200 application fee for that second band option. So every time you add an additional ensemble, there's a $200 application fee for that ensemble. Again, if you can do a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, we would be thrilled to be able to get those additional ensembles scheduled for you without putting you on a 6-week hold. If not, then those would go on a 6-week hold, as similar to the Festival Disney. Sometimes a year, if you're coming in October and November, usually never a problem. We usually get those performances scheduled, and we usually can sometimes do it sooner than the 6-week hold. It's just those spring time period and the 2 weeks around Easter that are really, really tough for us, that we really takes us a little bit longer to commit to those. If for some reason you would apply and we would not be able to give you that second performance for that additional ensemble, your money will be sent back to you. So we do require that in order for an application to go through the process, we have every single element, which means we have your application, we have your money, we have your pictures, and your video. If we're missing any one of those components, then the application will sit until we get all the information. We've already kind of talked about Festival Disney.
But if you only have one instrumental group, one vocal group, one dance group, there is no application fee.
Correct.
Okay, so the application fee is only for a second vocal group or a second instrumental group. Also,
Correct.
if you've got this wonderful show choir that you want to have perform twice in Disney, the first time it's free. They're wonderful. They'll be accepted. The second time, that's a $200 application fee, and you will not know whether that performance is going to be accepted until 6 weeks prior. Also, you should know that all performances, although you will be scheduled, I shouldn't say this because you told me this is changing, but
yeah, you know, you can talk it because I can go over a little bit of what
you will be accepted into a performance date as soon as you're accepted into a performance at Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
But you will not be given a time and all the information about when you need to be backstage until 3 weeks prior. So if you are wondering why your tour planner's not getting back to you, your Disney rep's not getting back to you, it's because we don't have the information from Disney until 3 weeks prior.
And I'm going to put a caveat onto that, Bruce, that you may not even know yet. But our DPA office has really gone back and looked, and knowing that our groups are trying to request stuff, they have committed this year to do a test for us. So this is, I can't tell you that it may not change back at any given time, but they are doing a test for us right now that they've started. So if the group is coming May through January, they will try to give you the show times and the dates as they book. We're working on it. So it's a test. February through April, we will be able to try to provide that to you as a day fills with all of our performances. But you will be notified no later than 3 weeks out of arrival, and sooner if we can. So it is a test. They are trying to see if that's something that we can do. It's something new for us, and we're trying to fine-tune it, but that's something that we're looking at, trying to do to be able to give you guys a little bit more information and make it a little bit easier for our travel planners to be able to help schedule you guys other things for your stay.
All right, great. Let's see, you've gone through all these questions. We talked about if you want to be in Festival Disney, but you want to also perform, and like I said, there's a $26 performance fee.
And that's per person.
That's per person. And this is a great checklist that you can go through. I'm not going to go through it, but it gives you all the information. So that's pretty much it. If someone's asked me a question, now I'm going to go back to it because I can't see questions when this app is up. So let's see. We have some questions. Okay, the onstage performance, Disney onstage performance time is 25 minutes. Correct?
Actually 20.
20 minutes. Okay. There you go. That was one question. How long is each performance for onstage performance? Good question. Where do the choirs do their clinics, and how many locations are there?
We have quite a few locations across property. Most of our workshop venues take place at Epcot behind the scenes. We have a facility that we utilize that has three workshop rooms that we utilize there. If during busy time, if those are full, we also have other audition performance venues for workshops that take place. They're still on property, but they are not at a park venue. They are at a what we call like a backstage venue that we utilize for all of our entertainers when they're practicing for parades and various things like that. So a lot of times for choral, We do, for example, our Broadway Magic, which is our Mary Poppins workshop that we do that was written by Disney Theatrical for us. We do that right at the Saratoga Springs Performance venue. So it can vary. Choir could be there, or they could be at one of the other locations as well.
Okay. All right. We're just about done. Some of the additional things that we wanted to mention. We said performance times and locations can be requested but not guaranteed. Applications take approximately 1 month. We talked about 3 weeks. Required private transportation and multi-day packages. The other things I want to just briefly talk about is if you do want to stay on a Disney property that is available to you, there are 2 standards of property at Walt Disney World that are open to student performances. One is the value resorts, which are the All-Star resorts. There's a picture of a pool at the All-Star.
That's at the music.
Of course, because
we have All-Star
piano.
Music, movies, and sports.
Right. Prices change throughout the year based on
They do vary.
holidays, but we're happy to work out a price for you for that. There's also the Disney Caribbean Beach Resort and the Disney Port Orleans Resort, which is a little bit more expensive of a resort. The rooms are maybe a little bit bigger, but there's not much difference. If you stay at a Disney resort, there is a complimentary round-trip shuttle from the airport, and there are complimentary shuttles to all Walt Disney Resort properties while you stay. Of course, again, you would need a private bus to transport to a performance or clinic. And there's also restaurant options in each resort for all your meals.
Right. We also provide a meal coupon that's available at those resorts in those particular resorts that Bruce has mentioned. That's youth priced.
Great. And then there's the meal option, which is there is a couple different options for you. There's a lunch and dinner meal coupon, which I think is a wonderful option. We put them in most of our proposals. It's a coupon that gets you 1 entree, 1 side dish, 1 dessert, and 1 single-serving non-alcoholic beverage, which, as you know, in many amusement parks can be very expensive, but this is a very good opportunity and a good deal. And it's used at most of the counter service restaurants throughout the park, but on the actual coupon it lists the locations. And then go ahead, I'm sorry.
A lot of our directors like it because the students aren't having to worry about carrying cash with them, and they know that they're eating versus spending their money on merchandise.
Right. We know they're going to eat at least twice a day, breakfast and a meal coupon.
Right.
And then there are other specialty meals available at the theme parks, dinner or dessert at Epcot during their Illuminations evening performance, which is a nice, you have a special area where you can get either dessert or dinner.
Right, and we can rope off an area, so it's private for you.
And you can do the same thing at Hollywood Studios during Fantasmic. And then there's also other theme park, there's a theme park breakfast buffet. I actually just learned that out myself today. But you can go to any of the parks and have a breakfast buffet and then be first in line for your favorite attraction. So if you want to have breakfast at the Magic Kingdom or breakfast at Epcot and be the first one to get on Soarin', let's do it. I want to go with you. Okay? So beyond that, you can find all of the Walt Disney World Resort performance applications on our website at peakperformancetours.com/Disney apps. We are happy to write a proposal for you for your next Walt Disney World Resort trip. If you'd like to go to our website and click on Info or contact us. You'll find that. And we will also be running additional future webinars. And to find out more about those webinars, you can go to our website as well. I'm going to open the line so you can actually talk to us if you have, if you're still out there and you want to ask a question because you don't want to type it. Go ahead. Everyone's open. Anyone have any questions?
Can you go back the on-stage picture again of the stage?
I sure can. This is the, to the right here. Oh, oops. This is the waterside stage, which is the primary performance stage for all ensembles other than parades at
rain or shine?
Well, yes and no. Obviously, safety is our first concern. So if it is lightning and thundering, obviously, we are not going to let anybody out there. If it is a light drizzle, depending on, we always work with you. We watch our radars, so we know in advance. If it is a light drizzle, we usually will give you the opportunity, as long as it's a safe condition, if you would choose to do that. If it is raining, we do everything in our power to reschedule the groups. Again, sometimes throughout the year, if we have performances that are back-to-back and we don't get cancellations or other people who don't, it's very hard for us to try to reschedule the performance. We will hold the start time for a few moments, probably about 5 to 10 minutes. Anything after that, if the weather's not letting up, then if it's unsafe conditions, we will cancel that performance because we can't continue to hold the rest of the performance up if it should stop raining that day. But we try to do everything in our power to then reschedule that performance during your trip.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There's one stage that we failed to mention on here, and that's really my fault. We have a temporary stage that we do put up at Epcot, and it goes up about the 3rd week of March until the 3rd week of May, and that's called Melanie Gardens. And that is over by the Living Seas and Land attraction over at Epcot by Innoventions, and it is primarily for choral groups. So that is a temporary stage that we don't have a picture of quite yet because we are going to be taking that this year when we put it up. But it is a fabulous covered. It's a. I want to say it's a temporary stage with a covered area. So the performers are covered, the audience is not.
Okay, great. I was asked to talk more about the Disney Broadway Magic.
Okay.
Workshop.
This is a workshop that we, like I said earlier, was created by our Disney theatrical friends out in New York with the Mary Poppins production. The whole workshop is built around Broadway. So we take a scene or a couple scenes out of the Broadway show. We take the students through a quick audition, and we audition the students, and we select a Poppins and a Bert and a Jane and a Michael Banks. We even select the nanny, Mary Poppins, and some of them, and we kind of take them through. The main part of the workshop, and I would say probably the best part of it all, is we teach them the supercalifragilistic number for them and all the words and the movements of that actual performance. It's a phenomenal workshop that is only about 2 years old, but we've gotten great reviews for it, and hoping that in the future that some of our other Broadway productions will come to life as well.
And you have to be a teenager to actually do that supercalifragilistic
Yes.
number, because I tried it once and it wasn't easy.
No, I still can't do it. I can't spell it. And we bring out props and stuff for the performance as well.
Okay. And can you give us any more information about the show choir magic?
Show choir magic. It is a opportunity that the clinicians will teach them the main elements of the choir performance. So what you will get is a little bit more, instead of standing there singing it, again a little bit more dance, a little bit more of the choral together, kind of like what you see on Glee.
Okay, great.
The other thing that I'd just like to point out, with any of our workshops or any of our performance opportunities, if you have additional questions or you need help getting a trip justified, please get with Bruce, because it's very easy for Bruce to contact me and get me in touch and get you guys in touch with our professionals here. So if it's a matter of, I'm confused, I'm not sure, I have some additional questions regarding staging and things like that, we can get you in touch with the Disney Performing Arts team. We can get you in touch with Renee Perez for our Festival Disney or our Disney Honors. If it's a letter that you need, stating that we're having a hard time getting the trip approved. This week alone, I just had a director who the principal did not want to approve the trip because she didn't see the value of a performance. So we wrote a letter just kind of talking about our performance and really that it's more than a performance when they come to Disney. It's really an educational experience as well. So we wrote a letter on behalf of that for the director, and they got the trip approved. So we are willing to do that for you if that need be the case.
Great. We will be providing a Disneyland webinar on September 26th at 7 p.m. It's a later webinar to make it easy for our West Coast friends. So if anyone's interested in learning more about Disneyland Resort performances, which are very similar to ones here in Walt Disney World, please join us on September 26th. And please give us a call. If you have any more questions, we'd be happy to answer. Anyone? All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.